and gentlemen, today I want us to have a discussion on one of the most interesting vehicle segments in the automotive industry today, and that is the compact crossover SUV segment. And why are people interested in this segment? It's because everybody wants a higher sitting position when you're driving your car. You want better visibility, you want something with class that can work well for your business. So ladies and gentlemen, in the motor industry today, the Kenyan motor industry today, we have vehicles retailing in this category for between 2.5 and 3 million Kenyan shillings on the ex-Japan market. Now, what if I told you, for a zero mileage car, brand new, 2021, you can get yourself a vehicle for tentatively the same amount of money? What better news than that, guys? So today, I want us to review one of the most interesting vehicles in the year 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the 2021 Suzuki Vitara Brezza. So let's have a discussion about the exterior design of this beautiful car that we have here with us today. And I would like us to discuss about the front of this car. And immediately you can tell this is a car that a lot of attention to its design was put by the manufacturer. They were very concerned about how does it look from the front when you arrive for that meeting that you're going for that business meeting. What kind of impression does it give from the very front side? Immediately you start seeing these headlights right here. They're really lovely headlights, and they are LED projector lamps. This means you get one of the best lighting systems in the industry with this vehicle, all right? And below the LED projector lamps, we have the daytime running lights here. So whenever the car is on, these lights are on, whether it's during the daytime or at night, which gives the vehicle such a nice signature look to it, all right? And right below, now that you're talking about lights, the fog lights here, they are LED fog lights as well. They are lovely, they are very bright, and this vehicle is one of the vehicles that has given me the best visibility when I am driving at night, whether in a foggy kind of climate or whether it's clear. This is one of the vehicles with one of the best setups on the headlights. Moving on to the chrome grille right here. The chrome grille sits right at the center of the two lovely headlights that this vehicle has, all right? And it blends in very nicely, the same height, similar height with the headlight as well. So it flows in very seamlessly together with the headlights. So when the daytime running lights are on, they work in such harmony with the grille, with the chrome finish as well. And at the center, we have the big name. The Suzuki logo is right here with us, all right? It has been placed in such a way that we can't avoid it. Lovely logo as well. Moving below to the very lower part of this front, we have the inverted U of the Vitara. It's a design language that Suzuki has. It has this inverted U's on many of the models that the manufacturer does. We have it on the Espresso, we have it on now the Vitara Brezza, we have it also on the Vitara itself. So it's a design that has been going on, and there's a lot of gaps here to cool down your engine, all right? So this is basically how well the front side looks. And I would like us to go immediately to the side view of this car, all right? One of the things you notice right away on the side of this unit is the alloy wheels. They have a mix of silver and black. That's such a nice blend. It works, it's as if silver and black was created to live together, because it looks really nice on these alloy wheels. They are 16-inch alloys, and they look classy on this car, and they give you such a premium look on this unit. And right above that, you see we have the side mirror here. It has these side winkers. Whenever you put your signal on, now these winkers turn on in harmony with the DRL here. This DRL light is the one that functions also as the signal light whenever you put your signals on. So you have this side winker and that daytime running lights slot also working as your signal. Coming on to this side, definitely we have the door here, and coming closer, you can come closer and look at this with me. Immediately you start noticing it has a button on the handle. This is what allows you, whenever you're carrying shopping, for example, and your keys are in the pocket, you don't have to start getting your keys to open your car. All you need to do is press this button and the vehicle will unlock itself, or will lock itself. So that's the side profile of the door. Moving on to the back, it's just a normal plain door. And immediately, now that we are on the side view, you can come closer and see how this looks. You start realizing we have this design language where the Brezza has two colors, a combination of two colors. Now, for example, here we have the bottom has a granite gray and the top has an orange finish. All right, so it's combined in such a way only the roof has the upper color. The pillars, the A, B pillars are plain blacks. But now the C pillar and the roof line are the ones that carry the extra color. So you can have this in different colors. You can have it in blue and black. You can have it in red and black. You can have it now in gray and orange like this one. You can as well have, there are quite a number of colors. So moving on to the back side of this car, you can immediately tell the extension of the nice design from the front is as well brought to the back of this car. Right away you notice this brake light here, which is LED. The entire brake light is LED. So whenever you put your foot on the brake, this entire panel here lights up in such a nice way, which is a nice safety feature as well, because the LED brake light can be seen from far, better than the halogen, the typical older halogen brake lights that we have been having in the market. Right away you start noticing this chrome finish right here that has the name Vitara Brezza, so that people behind you can know what you're driving. You have to be proud of your car, guys. So that's the name of the vehicle written right there. And down here to the bumper, we start realizing it has parking sensors at the back. So this vehicle comes with parking sensors, and as well we have a camera mounted here. So the vehicle has a reversing camera as well, so that your reversing and parking processes become much easier when you're driving this car. Now, going much lower, I want us to talk about the ground clearance of this vehicle. From the bottom all the way here, it's 198 millimeters, or rather in centimeters, it's 19.8 centimeters. That's quite a huge ground clearance for a crossover SUV. Basically, with this height, you will be able to clear any bump. You'll be able to go to even really bad terrain roads whenever you're driving this car. The ground clearance allows you to use it for both on-road and off-road. All right, so I would like us to open the boot actually and look at how this vehicle looks inside, how the boot looks. The boot is pretty spacious, as you can see. It has a divider here, so you can have your snacks thrown up here whenever you have your kids in the back seat. So let me just remove this so that it falls flat for you guys to see. So yeah, with this, your snacks can be thrown up here. You don't have to, whenever you do shopping and you have some food things for your kids, just put them here and they can reach out and get for themselves. Down here we have the luggage compartment where you put all your stuff. Now let's assume you don't want to have the snacks and everything. We have such a huge boot from the bottom here all the way up. It's such a spacious boot. You can fit a lot of things in here. In fact, a few guys can fit here, like three people can easily fit there. Moving down here, we have the spare wheel. This vehicle comes with a full spare wheel. Full. Like, the only thing that this spare wheel doesn't have, it is the alloy wheels. It comes now with the normal steel wheel, but the tire itself is a complete one. It's not the donut tire, so you get a full spare wheel as well. And of course, we have the first aid kit here, the lifesavers, and all that. Coming here closer, it has this 12-volt outlet. That is, if you're going for camping and you want to charge something like, I don't know, a microwave, power up something, charge phones, you can use that outlet over there. And of course, it has a light that lights up your boot if you're offloading your stuff, you're shopping at night. I think that's it for the boot. So I would like us to get on the inside of this vehicle. I would like us to look at what does it look like on the inside. The exterior design, we have actually come to a conclusion, looks extremely outstanding. The vehicle looks lovely, the colors are amazing. How about the inside? How does it look like? Come on guys, get in with me. interior of the Vitara Brezza. First things first, I would like to just say the same classy design on the outside, the same consistency is felt on the inside of this car. The design is just simplistic, very nice, very attractive. We have a little bit of piano blacks over here. But even before we begin that, let me just start the engine so that we can be able to explore the infotainment system, the gauge cluster, and all the options that we have on the inside of this car. Wow, very nice. So I'll begin with the gauge cluster here. So definitely the rev counter on the left, the speedometer on the right, and a very small, quite a nice digital display of kilometers, mileage, everything at the center. Also shows you the gear you're on. Now, one of the most interesting things about this gauge cluster is how it has a color changer. You can have this background in different colors. Like your gauge can be, like right now we are in amber, right? Now it's blue, now it's red, now it's sort of a whitish color, and again we go back to orange. So you have 5 different colors to choose from. I know it's a nice feature, a very tiny feature, but it can be interesting from the boring one color on your gauge cluster. Then I would like us to go right away to the steering wheel. Yeah, it has a very nice steering wheel. This steering wheel is clothed in leather, right? And then on the left we have the infotainment controls. On the right we have the cruise control settings. And from here you can increase the volume of your infotainment system. You can change stations, you can change mode, you can mute. On the right side, you are able to set your cruising speed from here as well, and it's quite direct. At the bottom of this steering, you can see a sort of letter T mimicked here, and then at the edges of the T, we have these silver linings, right? Which is such a nice feature in my opinion. Down here we have the voice control settings. From here you can just click on this and ask the infotainment system to do whatever it is you want. We have the picking the call button, the hanging up button. Basically from here you don't have to touch your radio, you don't have to touch your phone, you can have all your voice command done from the steering wheel. Now I know that now that we have talked about the voice command, I'll be taking you very quickly to the infotainment system, but before that, the steering is adjustable. You can adjust it up or even down, so that's quite cool as well. Yeah. Now, I forgot to mention that the vehicle is a push to start, so it's a keyless entry kind of thing. It has parking sensors buttons here on the right, and of course the window controls right here. Also, you can control the height of your headlights. So if you want the beam to be higher, you can control it from here. If you want it to be lower, you control it from here. Now moving swiftly to the infotainment system, which is quite a nice thing on this vehicle. This vehicle comes with a localized radio station. I always say this whenever I'm talking about zero mileage vehicles, because this radio has been built for the Kenyan market. So whenever you're buying a car that is a zero mileage in your country, everything has been made for your country. So you find radio stations, the wavelength of your radio stations fits that of your country. So now this is the infotainment system. We'll go direct into it. Of course, here you have the radio, but you have several options. If you go to the media, you can see there's the FM option, there's the AM option, there's the Bluetooth option, there's the Android Auto, all right, and there's the auxiliary option. So you have 5 different options, and if you have a flash disk, you can add on the USB port, and you will have a USB option here as well. So we have several options on this infotainment system, but the most important option that I would like us to discuss today is the option of the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. This vehicle comes with Android Auto, which means you can be able to have all your phone features on this infotainment system. So for example, you can access your maps from here. So I can command it from the voice command button we discussed earlier on. I can tell the vehicle, take me to Embakasi, for example, or take me to Karen or Muthaiga, or whichever place you're going, and it will directly take you. Your maps will be here, so you don't need to touch your phone, to hold your phone when you're driving. What that means is there is increased safety. All your concentration is on the road, not on a small device, your phone. when you're driving. Right. Moving on to other apps, it has the phone app, the music player app, it has even the calendar, because this vehicle understands you need to keep track of your, your schedules and stuff. So you can access your calendar from here. We have Apple Music, we have messages, we have everything basically is here, even WhatsApp, even Spotify, even Telegram. So basically you can chat with your friends through the voice command option. You can tell it to text so and so and it will do it for you. Now the phone option here, you can see it shows your contacts information here. So I can choose to, once I go to the phone option, I can choose to call someone. Now for example, I can call this person here. No, let me call my dad. I can call my dad, for example, right? And you can see it's already calling. But now because I need to hang up, you can see I've hung up from the steering, so I don't really need to keep on touching the screen. I can also command it, for example, call dad.
Is that Dad? Dad SAF or Dad Yafet?
Dad SAF. So that's a very nice feature and a very nice infotainment system, especially now that this vehicle competes against other crossover SUVs, especially ex-Japans and used vehicles. So this is such an outstanding feature because most of those cars come with Japanese radios that you can't be able to interact with to this level. All right. So right here it has an analog clock, shows you the day, the date, the month, the year, and the time. Because of course the Vitara Brezza clients are very, very critical, very concerned about their time, so it has to be showing you what time it is. All right. So now we move lower to the temperature controls here. So it's a bit different because it doesn't have the rolling dials to control your temperatures, but it's also very simplistic because it has buttons that you just press. Buttons like for fan speed, there's a button that has pointed upwards, so that's what you use to turn on the AC, and you can see clearly the fans are already up and running. All right. On the left side we have the temperature control. To increase your temperature there is a red arrow upwards, to reduce your temperature there's a blue arrow downwards, and those are the controls. You can change your temperature from here, and when you're tired of, maybe you don't no longer want the AC to be on, there's an off button here, or you can choose, let the car decide what temperature should I be feeling from inside here. You just press the auto and the vehicle will decide the fan speed, the temperature and all that depending on where you're driving. And then we have the mode button here, this to change from this the direction towards which the AC is blowing, so you can change it from right here. And then the AC button is here. You have the front the AC for the windscreen. In case you're driving in a very cold environment, a lot of mist or fog from the occupants in the car tends to go to the windscreen. So you use this to clear it when you're driving. And it also comes with a rear one as well. So if the rear window is also fogged, you can use this button to defog it, to make it clear. All right. So I think we're done with the AC. I think I'll discuss this region down here. We have a USB port, we have an auxiliary port, and we have a 12-volt charging port as well. What this means is you can charge a phone here. At the same time, you use the 12-volt charger, the converter one, here as well, meaning you can charge 2 or even 3 phones at a go, depending on the adapter you use to connect here. So it's actually very functional. And also for the USB, you can use, for the USB port, you can use it to plug in a flash disk and play your videos and the songs you want. It has a very simple gear. It's an automatic 4-speed transmission. It's 4-speed transmission. It has the parking, reverse, neutral, drive 2 and low option as well when you go off-road. Now that we have talked about the gear, it has reversing, of course. So let's look at the infotainment system. It has the camera, as I mentioned when I was reviewing the exterior review. You can see someone walking at the back over there. So that's actually the reversing camera of this car. And at the same time, it has parking sensors at the back, which makes it very easy for you to park your car, even in very tight spaces. in town. And it has these lines that show you, if you reverse, where your car will actually be when you start reversing. The yellow line shows you're getting close to the object, the red line shows you're too close, so you probably need to stop. So that's it about the gear. We will talk about the center console here. It has two slots for cup holders, and they're different sizes. So for example, this one, the front slot is slightly bigger than the rear one to hold bigger bottles. As you can see, this is where my water has been for the whole day, and it fits in perfectly. It's as if it was made for this. Yeah, it has two provisions for cup holders. Talking of storage compartments, it has 2-liter bottle holders at the side of the doors, so you can hold as much water as you want. Even on the rear seats, we have the same thing going on, and a lot of storage spaces on these door pockets as well. So it's a very, very accommodating car for someone that is traveling, that actually wants to carry water and all that. Now moving on to the left side of the interior, right here, we have two things. I'll talk about the glove box, and I'll talk about this other box up here. So this is the cool box. The cool box, why do we call it that? Because it has cooling. You can put your drinks here whenever you're driving to those sunny places and all that, and your drinks will remain cold, all right? And at the bottom, we have the glove compartment, which is generous of space, so it's fairly okay. But most importantly, notice guys, very few cars will come with a cool box. So this is actually a very unique feature. Leather seats are good, but sometimes if the leather seats don't have heating and cooling functions, they can tend to be very uncomfortable. On cold days, the seat is too cold and you have to warm it yourself. On hot days or hot weather, the seat is super hot, and now you have to start cooling it yourself, or you have to leave the AC on before you actually get into the car. So fabric seats have an advantage because they remain at the room temperature, so your back is never too hot or too cold on these seats. Also, they are, in my opinion, they are very easy to maintain, basically, because they're in black, and it's easy to wipe off stuff on these seats. So guys, I want us now to move. Okay, before we move to the back seat, actually, I've just remembered there are a few things up here. So it has this automatic mirror here. This one, the meaning of this automatic, or the reason it has this auto button, is when that button is on and someone is behind you at night and they are the lights are really bright at the back, it automatically dims those lights at the back. So basically, it's no longer that older technology you used to have a switch up here that you take backwards to dim lights and all that. So it's more advanced, all right? And it has very nice lights here, reading lights, in case you find yourself at night and you have a book to read, maybe you have a busy schedule, those lights are up there. You have your shades compartment here, and of course your passenger has this mirror to look at themselves here. All right, yeah, I think that's it for the front area of this vehicle. So I want us to move right away to the back seat and see how is it at the back. So at the back of this car, it's quite comfortable. The space is fairly okay for someone my height. As you can see, the legroom is I have around 8 centimeters of legroom, which is fairly okay. If the seat at the front is set at my height, and that means at the back I'll sit comfortably behind myself. So the space is fairly okay. And right away you notice it has very nice places to rest your hands. The same theme that was going on at the front comes here. Then we have this silver lining here as well, and it has this center armrest, whereby it also has two cup holders for your coffee. As you move around, if you're carrying your kids, you can as well use this as their armrest. So basically the back seat is very nice. The headroom here is 18 centimeters fairly, so it's a very nice and spacious vehicle. It gives you so much room, especially above yourself. So it's fairly spaced, and I personally love it. So what I want to demonstrate is how to expand your boot space, right, by folding these seats, because they don't fold like the conventional vehicles out here. It has a different way of folding them. So guys, let me show you how the seats fold, and right after that we go for an on-road drive experience of this car, so that we feel how does the suspension feel, how is the engine, blah blah blah. We haven't even talked about what engine is on this car. We'll talk about it when we go for the on-road experience, right after I show you how to fold the seats and get a bigger boot capacity. So how is it like to drive the Suzuki Vitara Brezza? I'd like to begin by saying it's generally such a smooth ride. It's very soft on road, and it tends to absorb most of the road imperfections. It's basically a little bit of, it has a little bit of comfort, more than you would expect from a vehicle of its class. So I generally love the drive quality of this car, and it's fairly silent. The cabin is well insulated. There isn't much road noise getting in, not much engine noise, not much wind noise. It's well insulated. Secondly, being a crossover SUV, as we began by talking about at the very beginning of the video, you realize that you have so much visibility when you're driving this car. You can see loads and loads and loads of everything around you. So that's one of the things that is lovely about this car, because it allows you to see everything around yourself. All right. So I will immediately talk about how does it perform. How is the on-road performance? Does it have a thrill? So this vehicle carries a 1500cc engine, 1462cc to be very, very specific. So it's giving 103 horsepower and 138 Newton meters of torque. So the vehicle is well powered. It's fairly powered for getting from point A to point B. So the engine is mated to a 4-speed automatic transmission, which works very well in harmony with each other. So in terms of performance, it's a good performer on road. And because of the ground clearance we mentioned, even off-road, because we have gone off-road a few times with this car, it does pretty well. There is nothing that you'll find that will be too difficult for this car to handle off-road. The clearance is pretty good. Now, about the power to overtake and all that, it's quite powerful. It will give you enough thrill, enough power to maneuver around highway speeds, around town speeds as well. So it's very good. And now, one of the major advantages of this car, being a 1500cc, it's fuel economy. Most of the crossover SUVs, they carry big engines, 2000cc, 2400, 2500. This vehicle carries a 1500cc, which means you get the fuel economy of a hatchback in a crossover SUV. So in this car, highway speeds, you will get 17 kilometers per liter. City speeds, you will get roughly 14 kilometers per liter, plus or minus. So it's a very economical car, and every client that has driven this car and actually owned one of their major things, one of the major highlights is how economical this car is. They even don't believe how an SUV is able to achieve this kind of economy. So I think it's a pretty good car, and I would recommend this to any young person, to any even people, older people, the older generation. Everybody, this is a car that fits a lot of needs, a lot of your needs, right? So I think I can maybe talk about one more feature that is on this car, the cruise control. I have done this before on the Jimny, on a previous video of the Jimny. It has cruise control, which means you can set your speeds, right? At maybe from the speeds of 40, you can use cruise control, which means you don't have to put your foot on the accelerator pedal, from the brake pedal at highways, or when you're driving in highways. So it takes a lot of work from the driver and does a lot of the work for you. So this is such a nice car to drive and to own. I would recommend it. I would recommend it to anyone. So I think guys, you should think about getting yourself a crossover, and when you do, this is the right crossover for you to get, because when you go the ex-Japan direction, you're not sure of the reliability. Vehicles are 7 years old. Why don't you come get a 0 mileage at 2021? The vehicle is basically a newborn, and that way you will be sure that for the next 15 years or so, you're safe driving this car. Alright, so I think that's something that every person needs to think about, especially now that new vehicles prices have gone down, and you can actually get a new car for even 1.8 million if you're looking at the entry-level vehicles like our Suzuki Swift. So it's the high time people start considering buying 0 mileage cars. You don't have the excuse of 0 mileage is too expensive. So guys, I think this is a perfect car, this is an excellent car, and surprise yourself. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us on this review of the 2021 Suzuki Vitara Brezza. It has been an amazing time talking to you guys and just looking at what does the new Vitara have. And so guys, I want you to know that this vehicle is available from Suzuki at Toyota Kenya. And you can come to our showroom on Uhuru Highway opposite Nyayo Stadium. You can come there, we'll give you a test drive, we will take you around the vehicle, we will show you everything you need to know about this vehicle that we have just reviewed today. Guys, the price is extremely good. The price is extremely good. How about you come and find out? It's going to be amazing serving you and giving you keys to one of these. I have been your host, Phineas Mwirigi.